Good afternoon, traders. We're starting off this video looking at the E-mini futures right here. We're pretty much trading a range over the last week and between around 1260 to 1275. We haven't really broke out of that yet. We had selling come in the last few days, but the bears haven't been able to take full control. And the most money's been made over the evening hours when the London markets are open, and you'll usually see gap ups intraday because of that. Looking at gold futures, I told you guys this 1378 was a level we needed to break above to get our move back up to 1385. Well, that happened today, and now you see us consolidating. We opened at 1380. We haven't been able to get back over that. If we do, we could perhaps see 1390 by tomorrow, and by the week's end, potentially 1405. Before there's a good chance another wave of selling will come in. So I'm still long these ABX calls off the 100-day moving average. I showed you guys that in previous videos, and I'm going to hold them. They're front month contracts, so they'll be expiring very soon, but that's okay. If we could at least get 50 half or 51 out of it, I'll be happy. Alright, we had a doji form yesterday in X. We dropped from 61 to 55 fairly quick. That's 6 points in 3 days, so I assumed there would be a little bit of short covering coming through. My alert was set at 55.76, which is the floor trader pivot. As soon as we got over that, we started buying, and now we're scaling out of our position. Looking at Apollo here, remember this gap down yesterday morning I highlighted was because the big school giant Strayer said that winter enrollments were down 20%, but we really weren't concerned with this. We were buying it off the open, and we caught an easy 1.5. We were more focused on the earnings report after the close yesterday. And I told you guys one of two things would happen. Either they'd miss on revenue and the stock would plummet down to 34, perhaps even lower, or they'd come out, they'd beat, they'd get a huge blast, we'd keep 39 on our radar, and we'd get an upgrade by UBS today. And that's exactly what happened, since UBS is one of the main analysts that covered this stock. So 39's where we opened. I know that's pretty crazy because that is the gap fill number, but the market makers made it open there, and then they ran it all the way up $1.30. So I told you guys if we held over 39, I'd be buying calls. Well, there you go, and I think we could get that move up to 41.37 now. Taking a look at WFMI, which is Whole Foods, we have a bullish gap. The high of that gap was 48.02. We came down there, we approached that on Friday. We put in a nice double bottom here, and then you see we bounced off the 48.02, and it was a nice easy trade, and perhaps we'll get a gap fill around the 50 level. I'm going to do a video in this next week basically focused on gaps, bearish gaps and bullish gaps, since we've been catching a large percent of our profits off these types of trades. This one's considered a bullish gap. When you hold above the prior gap up high, you should look for more buying, and if you ever cross below it, selling. But not only was this a smart play because we're approaching the key 48.02 support level from the gap, but we're right at the 50-day moving average, and today we just got to buy on the PPS. I'm not 100% that we will approach the 51.75 prior high, but the smart money just already made their money here, and now they're scaling out of their positions, and maybe they'll let a little money ride up, and we could potentially get back up to the 51 level, but we're happy with our profits here. CEPH was a more speculative play, but whenever you see a stock down consecutive days like this, around the last 13 days this thing has been down, it's a no-brainer that they will bounce it. The question is, will they bounce it off of a minor support level or a key support level? Well, this was a weekly support level. I originally thought they'd bring it down to 58.40, but when I saw them consolidating it right above the 58.97, which on an intraday chart you can see beautifully, I knew that I needed to be getting long here. So the long didn't occur here because I thought there was a chance it could have brought it down. When they consolidated here, brought it back, and then moved up, that's when we started taking our long. Right as soon as we got above the 50, they consolidated, and ever since the 59.20 level, you've seen just a straight move back up to 60.36. And personally, I don't think this move's over. If we hold 60.25, I think 61.04 will be approached in the next 2 days. Kohl's, symbol KSS, is still consolidating around the 50-day moving average. The only thing that scares me on this stock is this big volume drop on the down move right here, and we're still in a declining trend, and this is considered a lower high right here with the declining 50, 20, 5-day moving average, and the 200s even sloping down. This could be pretty brutal for the stock. So if some buyers don't step in and get it above the 42.41 and hold, I'm afraid that there's a good chance that this short-term trend line will break, and we'll get some more selling pressure. Alright, McDonald's has gone from 80.94 high just on the 7th of December all the way to a low yesterday of 73.52. So around a 7-point decline over the past month. A lot of people were anticipating a move back down to the 200-day moving average, or the institutions will start scaling in, but I think there's a good chance we're going to get a pop here. I'm looking at the calls, and they're positioning themselves for a move back up to around the 75 level. If you are a swing trader and not looking at options, McDonald's does has a decent dividend, and if you want to start scaling in your position here, if you like the stock overall, I don't think it's a bad idea. You want to see it hold above this 73.84 for a move higher. Hopefully we could come and get a bounce off of that today, and then make a higher move eventually up to 74.46. I think maybe I'll buy 2-3 contracts of the 75s or something in February just to be in it, and if it drifts a little lower, I'll control my risk and I'll still make a return on it, because I'll scale into a little more calls. Anyways, this is all I'm going to put now on this video, guys. Good luck trading. Now I'm going to get you another video out after the close.